Okay, let's go ahead and get started. This is Elliott Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. So the market is kind of stalling out. I think there's big tug of war going on between the bears and the bulls, and the stakes couldn't be higher. I believe the stakes are could be the end of the grand super cycle. So you better believe the bulls are going to bring everything they've got. They're going to throw everything they have, every unethical news drop, any rumor, any lie, any liquidity pump, whatever to keep, because if we break this low, guys, there is no guarantee that it's just going to make that the one low and then keep going in four. There's no guarantee this is going to happen. This could end up in a waterfall sell-off that just builds on itself like an avalanche of fear, and we'll see uncontrollable selling like we've never seen. Is a historic A wave of the first wave of the crash take shape. That can happen. That can happen. That's what's at stake. So that's why this has taken a while. That's why it's been really erratic and like tough, and a lot of wasted money, a lot of firepower here was wasted by the bulls. Boom. Here we're wasting tons of firepower again, and now we're at kind of a tipping point. The Dow Jones hit the sell area late Friday afternoon on the futures, and it got a nice sharp rejection candle. This is a very big warning sign to the market that perhaps this is a turn. We're turning now. And then the VIX also lines up with this. Now, we have other indexes here that could still push higher, technically. So we don't have full alignment yet in the market, but there's a warning signs are there. Bonds look like they found a temporary bottom, will now start to rally again. That's been risk off. The yen actually looks like it wants to strengthen again and not really weaken anymore. We need to see what happens on Sunday night, Monday. We also have, like I said, the futures hit the sell area, and we'll see if it can turn down. Bitcoin also hit its area. It's turning down. We'll see what happens this weekend. SPY, triple Qs, they're not in an ideal situation, but there's two ways to label this. There's this classic view, A, B, C, and we push higher. Okay, the other view is this, and we're done. And we get our target kind of like this from this point of view. And is it a coincidence? Look, guys, the wick tagged it, boom. So I'm leaning toward this is actually the count for the connector here because of the reaction and the alignment. But we'll just leave it conservative for now. This would be safer. In fact, if we did get this could be a short opportunity at 460 SQs, and then 538 with a back test of this. I don't know what you want to call that, support area, resistance now. That could be another. So it's one or the other. It's either like I have here or like that, where it's at A, B, C. So one or the other. If you do it this way, then you have perfect alignment across all the indexes for a turn atop with the VIX aligned as well, because the VIX shows that we hit the apex of the wedge on Friday, late Friday afternoon, and then there was like panic selling in the VIX. My guess it was market makers trying to shake out long VIX because they just want, again, they want to shake you out. So I think that's all it was here. Now there is this big gap, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. UVIX was even a better setup because it hit a buy area with the same setup. And here, if you look, you have 3 down connector, 3 down, and you're right in the buy area. You have the historical trend line from the beginning of the bull market in the UVIX, and you have an apex of a wedge, and you have Fibonacci support. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better setup in the UVIX, guys, Friday afternoon. It couldn't get any better for a long position. The 15-minute is so oversold. I mean, again, guys, do you think the 15 minutes is just going to go through that? I mean, we have a whole new cycle that's got to push out of this, and also the 45-minute, may show a divergence later. But again, we've gone through. We're almost done the 45-minute cycle, so we have a whole nother 2 weeks of selling, I think, ahead of us. Then we'll see where we're at. The VIX, if this wedge breaks out, I'm thinking we're going to go to 35, 32 conservatively. And of course, if you're super bearish, you get a whole nother swing higher in the VIX. A whole nother swing higher. And you actually exceed this high. Okay, that is the annihilation. That's annihilation VIX. And the target somewhere around 70 VIX. If this plays out, can't rule it out. You sure can't. Now, I think realistically, you get a counter trend, you retrace this move, come up into the 30s, and then we'll see where we're at with the market. Then we're either going to get this smaller sell-off that we've been talking about here, and then this isn't a big connector for this entire cycle. And the reason I have that there now is because we broke the trend line on the 4-hour with this little pop and the daily cycle. So to me, the daily cycle and 4-hour tell me that this is a new connector wave. This is a new connector wave, and that means we'll push all the way down to 480 if we break. I don't think we'll get just a little dip and then it's up. Like, I doubt it. Now, it's possible. Now, if it's that, then we're back to this count, and we're here, and then you get that last little dip. Okay, and everybody's happy. And we could go back to new all-time highs on the SPY as we finish wave 5. But again, if we come down in this cycle, then this shit's getting real. I mean, shit's getting real, because then it could really unravel fast. Because that probably implies the triple Qs have broke its neckline support of the top without forming a right shoulder, which would be essentially just a false breakout with a back test that fails, and that should really unravel the market, because that's what typically you do when those patterns fail. So that's, again, if this is a connector, but the RSI looks like it is. The bulls spent too much ammunition trying to keep the market up last week. And now they could pay the price if we break this low. That's the penalty for all this like excitement, is it not letting the market capitulate the way it needed to. Now they've went all in with their stack, and when we break this low, I think it's going to push potentially through this support area where people expect it to bounce. That's my guess. We'll see what happens in the next couple weeks. And then just to wrap up with Bitcoin, Bitcoin just missed this buy area, but BITI did hit it, and that was a way to time the turn. And now Bitcoin's stuck in a stalemate, a tug of war, just like the Hunger Games tug of war, where the stakes are death, fatality for one side of the market. That's the stakes, I think, depending on which way we go. Because if we can break this high after resetting the 4-hour cycle here, then you could actually come back and take out 70,000, I think. That changes everything almost. So this is big stakes, but if we obviously break down here, then this is in play, what I have here, all the way back down to 42. So there's a lot on the line. The market is in a very big inflection point, big moment in time, historical moment potentially, but that's where we are. That's where we are technically. Oil's about to could have a major breakdown, unless we get this 2 and get back up to 82 in this like larger 2, but then eventually it'll fill again. Silver again, is it in a wave 5 still where it extends? Or is this a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 and it's just going to collapse? We don't know. we haven't got a big enough turn yet to say the cycle's over. So we have to just assume we're still in wave 5. And then the dollar index, have it going higher in the triangle. The 10-year and 30-year all peaked and then have turned lower. This looks like a 1, 2, and then of course you get 3, 4, 5 later. Here, something like that. And everyone was freaking out about this, and all it was a market maker shaking everyone out. That's all it was. That's all that was market maker games, because they don't want you to make money on such an obvious trade. So they shook out the weekends, and then now it's market back. Now the rates are going to fall again. So, all right, let's go to your questions, guys, and see what you guys got. All right, I got a first super chat come in by Emma. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's take a look at Devin and GDX. So I think Devin was in a very difficult position. Devin was in a very difficult position because it was about to break that low. Let's see how it's been doing. So I assume it's gonna break it because it's just so close already. So I am expecting more downside to 25. This looks like a couple things. This could be a trap type 1, 2. Again, like the rest of the market, its intentions aren't very clear. That's a pretty obvious 5 waves, right? That's an easy label. Now here is a tricky. Is it 2 here and down? And see, this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And it's in a crash formation. So it could be a 1, 2, 1, 2 crash formation, or it could be in this tricky structure as a flat. Again, destroy bears, destroy bulls, and then we go down like that. So if we want to do that, there's a short opportunity that presents itself at 51 to 55 in this area. And I'll draw the box, and you can decide if you want to take that short if it goes up there. So that's a short. If that happens, there's no way to know. Unfortunately, like I always say, I can't predict the future. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have. I'm not almighty. I don't see the future. Just this is it, right here. It's one or the other. I think it's either this or crash formation. Don't know. But I do believe we'll be trading down here in the future. Okay, then let's look at GDX and how's that doing. And of course, I have my eye on GDX. The best thing for the miners, I think fundamentally, is high gold prices and deflationary environment because their profit margins will be good. The reason I say that is because I happened to turn on Bloomberg one day when I think one of the miners reported. I'm trying to remember which one it was, one of the big powerhouse gold miners. And that was right when they collapsed, and it was because their margins were squeezed because of inflation. So I think the investors really react to that. The fundamental investors react to that. So that's why I figure, well, if we're in a deflationary environment where their costs are going down, but their gold prices are going up, that should be pretty good for them, right? That's what I would think. So where are we? So we're in the same situation as the rest of the market, okay? We penetrated deep enough, okay, right there. But the swing is not there. Look, you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, you're missing 3. So I still think it's got another low. But do I like to buy it? Yes. This is on my shopping list, guys. Miners are on my shopping list. Now, I have the box here, but that's no longer, I don't want to say that's not valid anymore. I would say you could buy it here, but the best entry is probably at 31. But you have the 4 and the 2, somewhere around this sweet spot here would be even better. There. Let's look at the GDX D and see if there's any clues on what's going on with these guys. 1, 2, 3, connector, 1, 2, 3, connector. So let's look at our cycles. Let's just kind of take a look here. So you have one cycle and a reset, and then you reset that, erase divergence. Okay, so there's one peak right there. Okay, let's try to label this. There's a connector wave. Boom, you took that out. So that's a connector. So we'll just label that a connector. All right, now you have this. So like you had here, you see I had one and down. One, and then it's kind of like, does this count? Does this count? You see this? How it took out the divergence? This never did. This isn't the end of Y, because Y should take out this divergence and exceed this peak, right? This could be a couple things. This could be the first leg in Y, or it could be an extension. Even Y is going to go much higher than we think, and it's not. It's like within. It's like you're not finished the first leg. You're still in the first leg, and you still have the second. So I think the best way to label it is probably like this: W, X, Y, and then if you look at this X wave, that's what makes sense to me. So you have 3 waves down, and you took this divergence out here, but you made a higher price. So my guess is this will come down, so price gets better aligned to the RSI, and then you tag 1796 in this area. And then you finish the cycle, and you finish it, and then it's time to buy GDX. This is telling me it's not time to buy GDX by the way this looks, just right here. It's not, because even if this is an impulse, this isn't even a wave 3 because you never took this peak out. So this is even a 1, 2. This Y wave does not look finished to me at all. Now, we've talked about it before, that you have 3 up here. This looks like, to me, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 down. So again, we could be in a bigger flat and come back down to 15. So GDX could actually rise more, but it should ultimately fail if we're in this kind of connector here. So this is why this area is so dangerous to trade, and why I ignored the trade. I ignored the trade because it's just not aligned, because I could easily label GDX this way. And then bam. Okay, so we just don't know the shorter cycle path yet. Once we take this high out, then obviously this is the path right here. If we start selling off Monday, well then this is the path, just like I had earlier. And this is the path. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, and it does this. Like that. And then we head on down right away. So the question is, what's the market going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Is it going to, are the bulls just going to go all in with their whole, maybe they got more fire, they're going to run this thing up? Or is it just capitulate? Let's get this shit over with. I don't know. No one knows. If we know, we'd be billionaires or millionaires, We'd own a lot of money, because if we knew, we would be rich because you would go all in on the VIX right now, right? Because that would be easy, and you would leverage that bet. But you don't know. Now, the thing that tells me I wouldn't count on the super pump is the VIX was crushed, but I think they squeezed all the juice out of that orange on Friday, and all they got was 51 points out of it. Think about it. The VIX, guys, was down like God knows. Let me see here. Let me find it. 14%. And you only could get 51 Dow points out of that. Are you kidding me? That means to me that's like a hidden bearish divergence right there in the market in the market structure, because that should have been up 500 points. We should have been up like 500 or 600 points. So what that tells me is the crush the VIX is losing its punch, its effectiveness as a way to manipulate the market higher, which has always worked. Well, that shit isn't working anymore. If all you can get is 51 points, then what are you going to do? You got to take it down 50%. Well, shit isn't going down 50%. It's on massive support. So my guess is it's going to have a hard time pumping with the VIX where it is. I think the VIX now they overplayed their hand on that, and that's going to cause it to break. I think sooner than later. That's my guess if I had to guess at everything. But who knows? Maybe there's a surprise out there for us, and they can drop some news on Monday and push it higher. All right, so I spent a lot of time on that because I want to kind of educate people and give some background on some of my thoughts. All right, Stefan, let's go to your question. Blink, I haven't seen that one in a while. Yeah, Blink, how is EVs doing? I think my long-term forecast really is tied to the oil price. And if oil prices short-term are going to pump to 84 again, then Blink, I bet will get a release, some kind of rally, my guess, in sympathy of that. But again, if once oil turns, I believe the EV complex is toast for a while. And then some will survive, some won't. And the ones that survive will be able to catch the bull market in oil once we bottom. Because oil, once we bottom at 30, 40, 50 bucks, oil's going much higher beyond what people can believe, and people will be begging to buy EVs. You'll have more. They'll want NEO, but they won't have enough EVs to go around, I think, because oil is going to go up so much once we get to this technical point. But for now, yeah, I watch Blink. Blink's in a buy area off of this peak 1, 2, 3, but technically it's got to hold. Got to hold this low. It's got to hold this low. So to me, it's a low. It could be a low risk, high reward play, but just based on what I said, it doesn't have enough space to withstand an oil collapse, unless it can pump back up to $7, up to $9, $10, and then give it some room. So as you can see here on the weekly RSI, you've reset the cycle. So this is very bearish. You reset the whole cycle down with this little consolidation, this sideways consolidation, and then it turned down hard. My guess is you're going to break that low, and this isn't going to hold because of what I just said. We've already broke this pivot. Your weekly RSI got reset with almost no price movement, so people are panic dumping it. They're like, "Get me out, get me out, get me out at all cost." And now it's about to like waterfall. So my guess is it's going to break this low, and then it's going to be potentially a go to zero situation, because then you have this three-way move down, a connector, and then down. It'll have to take a whole new cycle lower, and it's just out of room. It's just no more room. So I would be pretty bearish on this. As you could see, there's really no way to know where it would go. It's just going to go into the abyss. All right, that's my assessment on Blink. Let's go to ASAN and see what's going on with that stock. Let's see if we've done that before. I don't see it. Okay. ASAN. Asan. Whatever. We'll see. Whatever these guys do. Let's take a look. Looks like we nailed the bottom, man. Look at that. Somebody asked me about it back on December 2022. God knows if they bought it. Now, this is what happens in wave ones, right? You go up, it's happy days, and then you go back in a massive like re-emergence of the bear market. And then it may hold, and then you get wave 3 later. So anytime I buy like a wave 1 off of a big pullback, I always take profit because I know once wave 3, once this counter, it could do something like this, and then your money's just tied up, waste it as it tries to form a bottom, because it takes a while after a crash like that. So the question is, did it break this low or not? So technically it broke the low. So using my system, that's pretty bad sign. So we did get the pump, which is the counter trend rally, but now we have a whole new cycle lower to go. It looks like it's got to go down in 5 waves. So I would just count 5 waves down, and then when it makes it down there, you could try to possibly buy it again if you're brave enough to do that. So we'll just kind of just do some simple Elliott wave labeling here. And then there's probably not enough separation, so we'll probably call that another 1, 2. Looks like it's about to have a wave 3 to the downside moment. So yeah, so that's how I would look at this right now. Perhaps it can find support down here in this box. We'll see what happens. All right, good luck with those stocks. All right, Delta Lions. Yeah, thanks for following me. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just tried to make it interesting based on my experience and understanding of the market. Please, EBS, ETA, BTG. Okay, let's look at some of these. Off the top of my head, I'm not familiar with any of those, but maybe we've done them before. I don't see EBS. I see ET. So let's go to ET first. So ET, we called the wave 5 top. That was the right call. And now we're in 2. So you're correct in this whole cycle. So it's not going to be done in like 1 week, right? This took, right, March 23 to July 20. It took like almost a year and a half. So this is going to take a while. It's going to take a while. It's going to look something like that, and it's going to be choppy and up and down, up and down. So my guess is it's topped already. Let's check some RSIs out and see what they may tell us. Oh, it's almost confirmed. So you don't have the confirmation just yet on the weekly. Maybe you could talk yourself into it, depending on how you draw the line. But I believe just a little bigger push down, and that should do it. And it looks like that's what's happening. So I believe this is the first wave down. You'll get a connector of some kind. And then that will bounce and that will fail. That's what I'm thinking. So you have 2 cycles to go through. But you could have a bigger relief rally coming at this area. And then if you get lucky, maybe it is the low. That's why I always like to buy these, just because you never know. I mean, that could be the low. Maybe it's a short cycle. The market's bullish again. But more than likely, you'll bounce here and then fail later. And then that will be this too. And of course, the idea is, let's see here. You need to stay above this RSI. If you can't, then it's a higher degree correction. And our swings are off just a little bit. And it's a different degree, which means it's going to go a little deeper, a little longer. That's all that means. It's still bullish because no way I can label it as finished. Like, look, there's no way it's like topped in wave 5 of 5 of 5. But is there a pullback? Yeah, it's either this cycle's over or this whole cycle's over. But it doesn't matter because it's pretty much going to go down from here, is what I'm thinking. BTG. Let's take a look at BTG here. All right, let's type that in. Oh, it's a gold. Is that a gold miner junior? Yeah, I think I was even trying to buy this at one point and then just kind of gave up on it. Yeah, so I had a 3 here. So I had this connector, so A with the divergence, so A, so 5 waves down. B, we're still in the same cycle, so we're still in C. But as you look at this, we haven't got that capitulation. We need to take out all that divergence. So we really need that boom. This has to go down and take that out. So that's what we're probably in the process of doing right now. So we have to just kind of label it and see where we're at. 1, 2, and then looks like to me a 1, 2. And then we reset over here. So we'll have to kind of do something like this to make it make sense. And we know it's not wave 3 because we didn't accelerate down enough yet. So it's still 1, 2, and then down. So I believe we have this acceleration lower coming, and then it could find the bottom. Let me see if there's a way to find a target here. So there's your target, 85.5 cents. Right there. In that area, in that general area, I would use this all-time low as your stop right there. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking right now in this. And you know what this, I mean, if you look at it, it looks like 3 waves up, right? I mean, this looks like 1, 2, 3, and then connector 1, 2, 3. So that looks like 3 waves up too. So what we'll say is we're going to just assume it because there's not enough data here. We're going to assume it moves in threes, and just kind of go with that for now. So there's your first set of 3s. And then there's your next set, your X, and then you get your Y. That's what you're hoping for. Something like that. X comes in down here, and then Y to the moon. That's what we're hoping for. Now X, because it's like in 3s, you can break this low and be okay. Now I'm just using it as a guide for a stop loss. Let's see if there's another target area. Yeah, so you can't really gauge it. So you're just going to have to stop out when you feel you're too much pain if you're going to try to buy it here. Or you got to watch the waves. But I believe when this ends, because again, it could go below this, then it's got a big run in the next 3 or 4 years. That's what I'm saying, guys. The metals, the future is good, but it's painful right now. That's what it's doing. And there's our trend line. That's another way. Once we break that trend line, then we know for sure. And see, that's where it got rejected. Look, it just came up right on the trend and got, bam, hit hard. So it's all working out very technical. It's a very technical trade here. But maybe the trade here is a short, aggressive short, but you have to, you know, maybe close it if it goes above 326 or breaks this downtrend line. Okay, guys, good luck on that. And oh yeah, EBS. Let me do EBS real quick. Oh, Emergent. Yeah, I know this company. So anytime you break the all-time low, that's a very bad sign technically. It puts you in a bearish case. So we're now in an impulse down in a kind of a bear market. Typically is what you see. But let's just look one more time here. Damn, look at that. What did they do that it got everyone so excited? I'll make vaccines or something. All right, that's a pretty big capitulation. And you see that bullish divergence. So this is an impulse off the low. So I believe that the chart will be supported in a new bull cycle. You know, and so I would assume, just looking at it now, it's bullish here from this low all the way back. That's got to be your so you had a lot of capitulation, okay? You've come down in 3, but this is only a corrective move, and you've already went too, in my opinion, too deep for a 4, unless it's the start of a lead-in diagonal coming out. So it's either 1, 2, and we come out in a lead-in diagonal, or it's going to break this low and turn into a 5th wave, and then correct back up to 16, and then go into the abyss. So you really don't know where we're going with it. So I guess if you want to buy it here, you have to have your stop loss down here. So there's a big risk. Here's, like I said, there's a lot of possibilities. I don't like the look of the first wave off the low. I think it could easily be... oh, wait a minute. I should have looked a little bit closer. Look at that. So you do have, see that little peak? So that's your 5. So I take that back. So it looks like an impulse. It looks impulsive then. See, that's why I have to look at it. It's got to be something like this. This has to be something like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'm not going to label that, but do you get the idea? So now you're going down in that's pretty good capitulation. So it definitely went deep enough. I mean, it could be done here. It could be finished here. But it more than likely it could give you more upside. Maybe it fails again, but it's hard to say. It looks like it's already turned into a new cycle higher off of this low. And again, I see a little bit of divergence there at these peaks. So you could easily have another 5 waves here. So this could easily be something like this. Okay, and then it just comes out. If you break this low, then you're going back probably to retest this low. If you come up in 3, you could come back and swing down, and then the 2 is there. So it's tough to say, but I think basically it's long above 514. It looks like it bottomed. I don't know. Something got investors really excited about it. It just came back to life from the dead. I'm not sure what it invented, but it must have been something pretty good. All right. Let's keep going. Reynaldo, AG. Let's look at that. AG. All right, so we're getting close to the end like the rest of the market. So again, if you look at this W, you have big 3 swings here. You know, I'm trying to talk myself into this being this kind of swing. You came up to 78 RSI on the 45 minute, and here you did about the same. So yeah, I'll talk myself into that. So let's say we're on the final swing down. You don't have divergence. It looks like it held that low. So to me, it looks like it's turning off the low. So I think this one looks like the low may be in off this low, and it's turning higher. That's what it looks like to me. All right. I mean, it has to hold this low, because if it doesn't, it's going to break this low. And if it does that, then it's going back into a big bear market, because then you have a connector for the whole move. And it's like do or die for the AG, this company. And it looks like it made a stand here. It's trying to make a stand. Now, we only have 3 down, so there's always a possibility that, yeah, it goes up, but this is the connector. It does something like this. It does something like that later. So there's always that chance, so keep an eye on that. But for now, we'll just kind of, I think this is the way to label it. The biggest confirmation you need is this kind of trend line to break. Then you know the low's in, or you get a nice 5 waves that you could see. All right, thanks for the super chat, Anonymous. MIGI. Well, yeah, most of the market, it's a stalemate. You know, most of the market is kind of stuck. You know, there's a big battle going on underneath. Let's see what's going on here. So clearly you reset the cycle. So I would almost guarantee you're still in this connector MB. So you're doing something like that. And then this was just 3 waves down, and you're doing this flat connector. So I would be looking for 5 off this low, and then a reversal. You know, I'm gonna label it like this for now. Yeah, it's probably not the right way to label it. Let me see here. Yeah, this is definitely the pattern. Okay, it's just how high is this C? This C is gonna go. Is it already like it may already be finished here because let's go, yeah, there's your peak right there. It may already be finished right there. So we just don't know if it pushes higher. Then I would be looking for this next area as a target, 140 in this area here. If it can take this peak out again, I would be looking for this target here and then down. But to me, it looks like it's already peaked right there. That's your peak, and it's about to make its move down. So yeah, this was a sideways connector. It's tricky area. You know, it's very hard to trade those middle sideways connector wave X B waves. Very tough trading area. Always recommend trading better setups that are a little clearer. But I think you go with this for now. This look, unless we could take this high out. LTCN. Let's see how that's doing. So this was aggressive view. It looks like we got the 5-wave view. So I would be looking for 5 down here. And looks like A would be in. The bad thing is B is so shallow because look at the first leg. Well, I guess this was pretty shallow too. Look at that. So yeah, so I wouldn't get too excited in this counter wave little bump, but it is good that it wasn't like any more catastrophic. Now we did break this high, so I think it's going to go a little higher maybe. To 1252 and then reverse. So I'll show the short setup right there, right in that area. And then, yeah, then it makes a whole nother 5 waves down. Then let's see BT CHG. This one we did label in 5, but you see we pumped too much here. So we're going to have to switch it to a 3-wave connector, 3-wave move in Y, which is fine. It morphed into this. So this X wave looks like a triangle X that's trying to finish out. It looks like a triangle kind of X wave. And then down. Like I said, there's no target area. We're just going to have to watch the swings and time it. Maybe we could time it with Bitcoin Cash, the coin. You have to have 3, and you'll need 3. This seems like the natural resting spot, 363, when it's all said and done. But we'll see what happens. But I believe you're in sideways chop. Chop, 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 chop. It's just going to go sideways and drive you crazy. I want to trade it. I want to short. I want to long. Oh no, what the hell? And then it's just going to do that. That's what's happening, I think, in this thing. It's a triangle. or I guess you could call that a bear flag, a bear flag, you know, playing out. A lot of tech stocks have this triangle. I was looking at their charts. A lot of the tech stocks are stuck in triangles like this right now, sideways, and like they're confusing a lot of traders because they don't know what to do. They don't know what's going on. Like Nvidia is like chop, 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 chop. Like I gave an Nvidia update and I was like, oh yeah, it's just going to do, and literally that's what it's been doing. So it's in this. That's a classic X way. That's classic X or wave 4. Okay, and then so if it's this could be wave 5, but in my system the way I do it, it's the Y. So because I'm still labeling it corrective, not impulsive, which means it's going to go higher in the future, not just go to 0. If I want to label it as if it's going to 0, I would label this as wave 5, with a bounce, but I'll be labeling it as a bottom for potential new highs and hopefully, way higher. But of course, the way to trade this is you buy it when you feel like it's time, and then you just put your stop at the pivot where it turns, and then you let the market decide for you. Is it going to stop you out or will it just keep going? That's why buying these things at the right moment is so key, because then later on, as it's doing a lot of gyrations, you're just sitting pretty and you don't really care. You'll just let the market come back and stop you out if it is, because you got it at the right time. Not buying it here, where most traders, they see it break out and then they momentum chase, and that's not a good way to do it. So we want to wait. So we got to wait no matter what happens in this thing right here. Okay, Ronin, Unity. Let's see, how's that doing? That's been kind of stuck in the mud. Unity has not had a lot of success lately, from what I remember. Let's see here. There it is. It's you. All right. So it did hit our extreme area here for the buy, the super and of course we got a big, nice little pump there, but this does look like an incomplete. This looks incomplete to me. If anything, I could label it a couple ways. I could say it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, one more low, down to like 12. Or of course, the more bearish label, that. Okay, so I look at this, I'm like, do I want to buy it here? Not with 3 like that, because we could actually still be in the 4 too and do something like this. So is it deep enough? Yes, but is the swings look right to me? No. So I still wouldn't buy it. Here, I would be looking for a push lower. Then you could try it. Like, now you could try it here, and of course we could always be wrong. It happens. But we've had this target for like months and months and months, and we finally hit it. So, I mean, pretty good odds it's going down. I seem to, get this one right. So a lot of traders were buying it up here, but we weren't. We were waiting. But I still think you got to be a little more patient, even if you get this 4 pump, because look at this too. You see how big it pumped? This 4 could do something like that, but I believe it's going to fail. Okay. LWLG. Light wave. All right, that's a new one. All right, so we had a big breakout here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Pretty easy, label. I won't label it exact, but you get the idea. And now we're going down. So there's your connector right there, and then down. Now we need to take out divergence. Oh, that's beautiful. You see, that's what you want to look for, guys. That, you see how it just did that and it took all that out, all that shit out, and it just bam. That's what you want. And look, that's the low. Perfect. Perfect. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. Now we'll look at it from some other points of view. Let's see the Fibonacci cell area. Well, look at that. It hit it exactly. So that looks good. That looks good. And then we come out. So we're coming out. So that low has to hold though. Don't get, can't. We're almost, that was pretty close. Close call. Almost broke your technicals. This could be an ABC and a lead in diagonal coming out 1 2, or it could be corrective and you'll break this low. If you break this low, the setup's lost and it's going to grind lower in a wave 5. This would be wave 3. 4, and then you would have wave 5, and then it would bounce and then fail again later. If you're really bullish on it, this is the setup you really need to see play out. You really need to see this play out, and honestly, it looks like you really need to hold this little wick here at 256. So that's what you're hoping for. If that can't work out, then I would say that if that can't work out, then this is 5 waves down. I mean 5 waves down from this very top, from the top. So we'll make another low, marginal low, but then it will pump out. But then it's just going to go back into the abyss later. But this can technically support maybe even new all-time highs. I mean, if this can hold, the technicals are in place for that possibility. So good luck on that. I don't know what do these guys do. Some photonic, electro-optic photonic devices, some kind of high-tech something or another. All right. Well, cool. Maybe we're going to need some of that in the future. Okay. Festival. Let's go to your super chat. EUX. Alrighty. Let's see what we got for EUX. EUX. All right, that's a new one for us. EU wax. I don't know if you have a specific exchange you want it on. You could type in the chat which exchange you want. And while you're doing that, I'll do CCJ. Let's see here. That symbol sounds familiar to me. I think maybe we've done that before. Let me see here. Camco. No, we haven't. Okay. Looks like we looked at it at one point. Long time ago. I wonder if we looked at it when my channel first came out or something. I don't know. Or I was just looking at it. Okay, so did we take that high? So taking that high out is always significant. It did. So that's a big milestone. But the problem is, as you know, we've talked about the flat. The flat is the sinister pattern that destroys traders and causes all sorts of hysteria, only to see it come out of it and moan later, which is what, because you made because you broke that, more than likely that's what's going to happen. So I don't know if you're in a flat, but it sure looks like it to me just looking at this pattern right away. I mean, it just looks like 3 and you had an early connector here and you broke the low. I mean, this is a classic. We see this all the time, and then you come up in an impulse and then you fail again. So it just looks classic. Now we'll have to, let's see what the divergences look like. See all that divergence? Let's take a look on the monthly. Now the monthly, no, see, even on the monthly you've got divergence. So yeah, it's a flat. So this is going to do a nasty flat on you. And then you're going to, if you panic sell it, you're going to watch it in 3 or 4 years be at $80 and, you know, want to go jump off a bridge. No, I'm just joking, but you know what I'm saying. So this is why flats destroy traders. It's the most destructive wave of all the Elliott wave patterns, and I believe you are starting one of these. and so I believe, and again, it has to take a full impulse down. Now, it doesn't have to go all the way down. It just needs to go down to finish an impulse and erase that high level divergence at the monthly time frame, and then I think you'll be good to go. So can be truncate. It can be run in flat and end early. It doesn't have to go all the way down. So, but I believe it's some kind of flat you're in. You're stuck in that, and then you'll get this eventually in the future. All right, EUX. Did I do EUX? I don't remember. I know I skipped out of what. Yeah, I needed the exchange. It was on. Let me see here. All right. EUX. EUX equals UEC. Yeah, if Festival, if you want to put in the chat how I can get to your symbol, you can do that and I'll come back and do it again, okay? Because I don't know if you meant UEC or what you, oh, UEC, there you go, I see it. Yeah, for some reason the chat that I follow in my live stream app lags because I'm not on the YouTube chat. I'm on it feeds it in. So okay, so you wanted UEC. Okay, there you go. All right, uranium. I do like uranium. Let's see. That looks like I don't know if it's a flat, but it's definitely a three-wave mess right there. So this is like a classic, three-wave mess. You took that low out there. All right, so you're forming this leg. So it looks like you have this W's in. You'll get something like that. So where can this end? Tough to say. I mean, you're definitely going to bounce like right here. It looks like you got a bounce coming. In this area. You see where this plummeted right about here? You're right where you. So my guess is it's close or it's bottomed here. I don't think you're going to get a bounce and a failure, but you can't rule it out. Okay, you can't rule out this situation. You can't rule that out. But it does look like it's supported. You should get this finite Y come out and get up there. That's what you're hoping for. So I think that's the look I'm looking for. So good luck on that. Let me just look at the RSI one more time. See, that's good. 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I think this is a setup. That's the setup. Uranium Energy Corporation. And I think I'll keep an eye on that myself. This looks like a good setup to me. I mean, it's better than people want to buy the Qs or I want to buy Tesla, I want to buy Apple, but this is actually a better long setup. Okay, what if the market's going to go up to SPY, 450 or something, or sorry, 550, 560? Well, would you rather be in Apple? Would you rather be in Tesla? Or would you rather be in something like this? I would rather be in something like this because this has a clearer setup on the bullish side. So that's why I want to search for a stock that looks something like this to go long. If I'm so inclined that I have to be long something, like I gotta buy something, or I want to be with the market because I do believe the market's going higher in wave five now, and all these forecasters are saying is wrong, are wrong, but me, hey, then buy this because this should go up and actually this should outperform. This is what outperform the market as it rises. That's what this is telling me. But the setup's so clean. So let's while we're doing that, let's take a quick peek at URA because that is one I have my eye on. How's that looking? Yeah, I mean I'm getting picky. One more low, one more drop, but it's right on trend line support here. In a 1-2-1-2, you broke this high. This is set up for a wave three. Let's hope this doesn't mean there's like nuclear war coming, guys, and we need all this uranium for bombs. I mean, God, wow, I don't know, but yeah, uranium, guys, looks pretty bullish. I mean, uranium looks really bullish. I mean, yeah, it's dipping, but this is just a corrective pullback. The future looks really good for uranium investors. That's what it seems to me. All right, Mike. RGC. Let's take a look at RGC here. RGC. All right, that looks like it's a new one. Some bioscience play. That looks good there. Now you see you made the low, but then you broke the low. So this is a connector for this move, and it's already done. So my guess is it's making its next move lower, is my guess. But let me see it here. Yeah, that's what it did, and then it made something like that. So now it's gonna go back down again. Or you're still in X. Now you could still be in X. Let's take a closer look. Yeah, that cycle's over. So there's a chance actually you may get one more swing up on X, and it does something crazy like this, which I wouldn't be surprised to do, and it comes up like that. So I would expect that now that you're above 610 and it held, so I would expect something like this, and then it should fail, and then there should be lights out. But I think that's the setup you're looking for, and again, you know, so it may have a it may not just go straight up. It may come back and then come out. But as long as you're above 567, I would be looking for this move that I have right there. Let's go to the next one. I thought we did that one. That one also sounded familiar. Oh, Newegg. Yeah, I do have that. That's why it sounded familiar. I just don't have it in our. That's one I keep an eye on myself. Okay. So Newegg, man, when it pumps, it can pump. Yeah, look at that. Remember those were the good old days. I believe we'll have something like this happen again in the future. Just have to be patient. All right, let's really take a close look at this. Yeah, probably label like this. If it can survive, again, there's no guarantee it's going to be in business because that's the problem with these. But assuming it can survive this correction, it's got a really good chance. So you need 3 waves down. So the thing is, we need to take this out. So we do need more downside to finish it out. We do need more downside to finish it out, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's seen its wave 3 moment yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I believe it's about to. Okay, so I think it's got to drop and then take out all that. Take out all that. And when it does, then if it's still if it still survives all that, then the future is really, really good. But it almost looks like it won't survive. It seems like the market is saying it's not going to survive what's coming, the bear market that may be coming. But if it can, huge opportunity. Ramp. Oh yeah, we've done this one already. Somebody must have already asked me. I don't know. I lose track. Yeah, this one is already in the buy area against this low at 1534 in a 1-2-1-2 setup, and that's a setup. That's another one. Hey, here's another one that if you really have to go long, like you really need to buy something, buy this. Buy this. Now again, you have to have a stop loss at 1526. So that's your risk. That's your risk. And of course, if that's not the case, then it's more than likely going to retest this low, and it could go even lower. So it's a pretty important moment for this company stock. Okay, thanks, Mike. Anonymous, yeah, let's take a look at some of these other ones here. CLSK. So CLSK has been worth the wait, right? Isn't it? But look how patient you had to be. Again, if you followed me, every update I gave, I said, just wait, just be patient, be patient. It's going to break down. We broke down. This is another triangle X wave. So these are all over the market, guys, right now. So if you look at the chart, it's doing this. It's in a triangle. That's what it's doing. That's what it's doing, something like this. Okay, I think, and then you'll get that final push lower. But it's hard. It's gonna be hard to say how far, where it's gonna go. I think the best way to look at it is we really need to get the divergences. See, you won't have much, so it may not fall very much. So this one may not fall that much on this swing down. It may be just sharp and shallow. So if you're looking for like this, that may not happen. So again, if you believe in this company, what do you buy it at 11 or you buy it at $9? If it's trading at $40, you're not going to care, right? Who cares, But if you're trying to pinpoint your entry, I think it's got a little more downside coming in this as this finishes. And if again look at its counterpart, 1, 2, 3, this will have to kind of do the same thing. 1, 2. So I don't want, like I said, I think it could be shallow, but it could still push a little lower. So I don't know, but I believe that's the count I'm looking at right now. That's the count. And then Riot. So as long as this low holds, Riot is still sound technically. I think we talked about this and just assuming that this would break based on the headwinds we saw coming. Let's just look at the structure from an RSI standpoint. So this little pop here was the whole thing. So this is a connector for this whole cycle right there. So yeah, so this was the low, then it became a connector wave. So now we have a whole new cycle to go through again. So we have to do this all over again. I'll try to give you a target again as long as it's above that historic low there, 318. So we could see 673, a 582 in this area. But if you look at this, look how long W took. I mean, so we just don't know how it's going to play out. But I believe it's definitely coming down into this area, but it may need time to like gyrate around. And again, you need to take out the divergence here. I want to see that push down. So it needs to do that, but it has to hold this low. Or the other bull cases negate it. Then it's going to be it could be a technical breakdown for this chart. I wouldn't want to own it. But owning it here, you know, put your stop at 327, buy it at $5. Who knows? You may work out. But this, if again, you look how complicated this was. This isn't like, this seems like way too quick. Almost like we're maybe still in X. Like you wonder if it'll do something like this. And then if it comes down later or something. So this one's kind of a mess. It's like I wouldn't recommend trading it, to be honest with you. This one I think your money could be tied up in a lot of sideways price action. That's what I see here in this chart. I see a lot of confused traders, confused investors. The business may be confused too. What's it? Should I sell my Bitcoin or whole? So I just see a lot of confusion and sideways action that probably still has a lot more of that, a lot more stuff, this type of action before maybe we break out. Okay, HUT. All right, so HUT is, again, this will be a triangle wave 4, but let's get, or morphed into a different connector here. So we finished in 3. So let's erase some of this and take a look. I guess you got to call that the low then, or the X, this X. What do I have here? Okay, yeah. So I guess you got to call it the low. It has to be the low. There's no more room. So that has to be the low. So the problem I have is this looks like a triangle to me that will jet down lower. If it does, it's got to go through a whole new ABC. A whole new ABC. And you're going to run out of room. My guess is there's no more room. So you have to back into the low. So I'm labeling it like this, but you have to understand that it may be this, and then this, and then there's just no more room, and we break those lows. And again, when this finishes, yes, you'll get a big bounce, but then it'll just keep going lower. So tough to say, but we really need to negate the triangle by breaking above $13. Until then, it's very tricky. Again, I would be on the sidelines waiting for someone to make a move. With the bear, you know, can the bears break this low here? If they do, this could also become a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and bounce and then fail. But since this has reset so much RSI, it's probably this with a connector, and then when you break it, it's just lights out. So this is how I look at this. So I think the best thing to do here is to be on the sidelines for now. I wouldn't be surprised given the market forecast and where it's going. It's going to break this low and it will come down and break this low here. And then we'll just have to relabel it, and there could still be a trade set up later, but it would be a different looking chart than what we have. It would be a more bearish chart where you could play some of these swings, like some of these longer weekly, monthly swings like here. Like you'll be able to play this while wave. At some point we'll get that monthly swing. That would be a tradable like area, but until then it's like Like I don't know if I want to bottom fish this the way it looks here. Oh shit, my audio went off. Sorry guys. Um, so I'll try to recap Hex Coin for you. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, man. So Hex Coin, just to recap it, looks like to me it's almost finished its correction. Okay. So we come all the way down in 5 waves. We're waiting for that 5th wave. And you saw me label it. So it's pretty straightforward how I labeled it. And as you could see, it's almost done its 5th wave. And I believe it's just got a little more downside down here. Just a little more downside down here. And then once you get there, it should be finished. You have bullish divergence on this 5th wave, which is good as long as you're below that. So I think everything looks good for this to kind of finish out here as this pushes down. It looks like it needs a little more downside. Now the other way you could try to time it is if you break out of this wedge a little sooner, then perhaps it's already bottomed. Something like that, okay? Sorry about the audio, guys. So you didn't miss much. You see the labeling. It's pretty straightforward, just looking for that 5 waves down and then the buy area we had for Hex coin. TM deeper dive. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. TM. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate it. I'll do a deep dive on that. See what TM is all about. Okay. So again, it's hard to do a deep dive with a chart that doesn't have a lot of data, but we pretty much have nailed every swing, right? So, but let's look at some of the higher time frames and what can we learn, if anything. So the 4-hour, we have a peak here, and then we bottomed out here. Okay, you don't have divergence at this peak, but at the lower time frame, I believe we did, which is good there. So you could see that. So this is an impulse off the low. And then we did have this not go below that pivot, so that it does support a 1-2, 1-2. And then, of course, we came up off the low here. And again, if I look at the 15-minute, I also see divergence, so I can call that an impulse with a finish. So I believe the labeling is supported based on what I have so far. Now, there is a possibility that there's always a chance where it could double correct down. So this is what I call an area called in the middle or sidelines for me. So if I was new, if I just took this chart and I was like, I want to trade it, I would be on the sidelines and would wait for a better setup. Because there's really no setup here because it could always make a double correction lower and come back down as long as it stays above, where were we on the 45-minute? As long as we stay above this pivot here, which it probably would. But if we did come down here, we'd have to take this out. So it would be a pretty significant decline, very sharp decline if that happens. So I look at this, you know, again, $45-minute. So let's take a look. Deeper dive. This I don't like that. Look. Right there. So I believe the best way to label that, looking at it that way, would be another move down, and it's about to do that. So as long as you're below 41.81, I would expect another leg lower is coming because of this divergence right there. You know. That's the reason, and then you finish here. Let's see. Let's go back to the 15. There. No divergence. This is really tough. This part, because you can actually still be in B. Now, when I look at this, yeah, you know, I'll take it back. Because now when I look at this, it looks like 5 off the low, which is what you need. So to me, this looks like a corrective structure here. Like that. So as long as you're below 41.84, I would expect a sharp dump down. Because you have to erase that divergence and break this low. And that's a lot to do, and that has to happen in a very bearish manner. So yeah, I'd be careful in it. Well, it's not. Sorry, I didn't label that right. So I think that's what we're in. looking at it. Something like that is coming. And then if you can, and there's kind of like a downtrend line, you could try to, as long as you're on that side of it, it's bearish. So again, not a lot of chart data to kind of gauge. What sector does it trade with? AI, healthcare, technology, AI. What's this market cap? 6 billion. I don't know what sector it's in specifically. If it's in technology, there's a chance it could rally like on the very short-term cycle I showed you. But if it's in the healthcare sector, I think the healthcare sector wants to go lower. So this kind of aligns with the forecast in the sector for healthcare. So I think it's going down. Okay, good luck on that. Then URA. Yeah, URA I was just kind of glanced at. I showed you guys URA is almost finished its correction. Like the rest of the market, I have a 1-2 and a 1-2 and then an ABC flat correction down. So it's got to finish this out. It's got to finish this out. Let me label this right. I just noticed it wasn't labeled right. So it's got to finish this. So like the rest of the market, it's got to finish this impulse down. And then once it does, it should bottom. So there's no real good way to target this low because of how deep it is. But as you could see, there's a lot of white space. There's the 2 at 1851. So there's a lot of white space here. And it tends to have very sharp corrections. See the personality of it? It tends to dive down. And that's what it's doing now. So, I mean, it could even come down to $19, $20. So it's going to be tough to time it unless you kind of watch those swings. So there's really not a target that I can give you to buy it other than just kind of when you feel like the risk is enough, because you would need to put your stop at 1839, then you would want to start to buy it in wave 2 as long as the divergence is erased, which it pretty much has on the daily. Perhaps you want to wait for the weekly to kind of come back down a little lower, but that's what I'm looking for. But I think it's got more downside. That's why I'm not a buyer of it yet. That's why, because I need more downside. I need to push lower. It needs to push lower. You know, it looks like it's going to break this trend line too. So that's another indication, right? It's been on this trend line, and it looks like it's going to break that. But it doesn't really matter too much other than, you know, I don't think this is a corrective bounce. So I think this will hold. So good luck on that. Okay, I'm going to go back and do just random questions. I'll just pick out a few. Let's do GME and AMC. Everybody loves to ask about that and see how they're looking. You know, I told you GME is turning higher. Technically, I mean, I can't guarantee you anything, but it seems like it is in a new cycle higher. And so we put the 2 here. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is what this looks like here. So this could be like a 1, 2, where you drop back to like 21 and an ABC. I wouldn't label this as a 3, 4, 5 because of all that divergence there. So I'm inclined to I'm just going to label it as I see it. So I think it's that. Okay. And then AMC, and you guys could do with the chart what you want to. You know, I'm not recommending any trade or anything. I'm just labeling it, and you can do with it what you wish. This is the chart. This is the chart. AMC here. Let's see. How's AMC doing? So that's only 3. So again, still could be chopping around. I think it could be something like that. Because this is 3 here. And come back down. So that's what I think AMC is doing. Brandon Tusk. I'm in St. Augustine. Oh, cool. You're in Florida? Cool. Yeah, I know that area. I know that city really well. AMC Rip Monday. Well, I think you got, remember, if the market makes that pullback, my guess is these will pull back, but I bet they're going to hold these lows. That's huge. Keep an eye on that. If the market guys, if this does want to pull back, and again, I'm showing you this bearish case, but what if it is just a shallow pullback, just enough to technically get the swings reset, and AMC and GME hold the lows back here? Yeah, you probably want to buy it. I'm just saying. But if they break the lows, then yeah, then the setup's lost. So AMD could have a trade set up on the short side. I was looking at. I'll show that. But if you're so we have let's get rid of all this here. So I believe looking at it, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a 1, 2, and then you have another 1, 2. The problem is 2 waves can't be triangles. So the 2 wave is either already done and it's in a crash formation, so you could just short it and put your stop at 139 for a huge profit. The other is it's like this. It's something like this, where, oh, hold on, let me look at the RSI. Yeah, see, this is 5 waves down. You see the bullish divergence there? And then you came up. I bet the 2's already in. Monday's very interesting. If this plays out, more than likely the market's going down with it. I wouldn't think 2 would do this. I don't think it's going to do that. But maybe I'm wrong. I guess if it were to do that, then it would have to be some kind of A, B, C. So the trade setup would be this. Short at 146 up to 153. So one or the other. We'll have to wait and see how AMD plays out. All right, I'm just going to scan through comments. Any more comments you guys have? I always do like the popular ones. Tesla. Let's go through some of the big cap tech. There's a lot of people trade that. So Tesla's in this triangle X wave I talked about. A lot of tech is in that. Chop, chop, chop. Here. It could be like that. Something like that. Let's go see Apple. Yeah, as long as the 2 is below that peak, it's still a 2. Apple looks like it could have been a short on Friday opportunity. Not quite. 218 would have been the short area right here. Let's leave it there. Let's see. Google wave 4 looks like 1, 2, 3, A, B. Yeah, that looks like it's finished its triangle on Friday. Something like that. Maybe it could still push a little higher. I don't know. Did we take that C out? Let me see. Yeah, it's not perfect for that then. So it probably will go a little bit higher. You got this gap there. Meta. Looks like it's 5 up off this low. So that wouldn't work. This would be just some kind of flat. A, B, C. It's close enough. Netflix. Looks like it's in a flat connector. Go lower. And then A, B, C, so could push up a little bit more. NVIDIA. This one looks like a triangle. And down. Microsoft. This one could be triangle as well. Not enough data to know for sure. I think that's enough. All right, just some big cap tech stocks. I can't really get bullish on the market until one of these big cap stocks takes these highs out. Where's Amazon at? We didn't do Amazon. Let's see, boom. This is probably done there. Okay. All right, I got one last super chat here, and then I'll wrap it up. Victoria Baba. Yeah, let's look at that. Well, that's it. So taking that high out is interesting. Is Baba trying to make a stand, or it's triangle connector and B? Let's see here. I bet it's going to do something like that. That's what I'm thinking. And then Hang Seng hit our short area that we had. If we double corrected, I mentioned that possibility. Let's see how our divergence. Yeah, that's good. When you did take this peak out here, you do have bullish divergence there. So with actually we'll relabel it a little bit. So it could actually push a little higher. But I expect it to fail. Maybe it touched the downtrend line again. Yeah, it looks like to me it's a connector wave. And the reason is, you see, if we would have took that divergence out here, you could have talked yourself into this as being the low maybe. But I don't think it is. I think this will come back down at some point and then come down into this area. Let's look at the 4 hour. Yeah, even the 4 hour is not good. Okay, yeah, I think it's got more downside. Thanks for the super chat. All right, so appreciate it, guys. Thanks again, and hope everyone has a good weekend. Depending on the price action, I may or may not do live streams Sunday night. If it's just, nothing's going on, I probably just won't do one. If we get some movement in the market, I'll definitely do one. I may do just a general market update and post that on Sunday based on where we're trading versus live streaming. And then we'll see. Well, I think next week's a very important week for some market direction, but we are at a big inflection point that could be breached, especially to the downside. Let's see here, Bitcoin's moving up. So still looks like, yeah, now let's see here, if we take this high out, that would open us up for 62, a retest of this peak. If the bulls can take this peak out, that's a very big deal, I think. It's a very big deal if that can happen. We'll have to wait and see what happens this weekend. But they're trying, like I said, they're giving everything they got at it because they know what's at stake.